This is the LG Gram Style, and while it may not quite weigh a gram, it is the lightest laptop I've ever tested with a big 16-inch OLED display. It's also stunning, with an iridescent finish that shifts colors in the light, and a seamless touchpad that stays hidden until needed. This is one of the best Windows laptops for those who are looking to make a statement. We need to talk about the LG Gram's obscenely light weight. At 2.76 pounds, the LG Gram Style is by far the lightest 16-inch laptop we've tested. By comparison, the 13-inch MacBook Air is a wee bit lighter at 2.7 pounds, but who doesn't want an extra 3 inches? Carrying the Gram Style in my backpack for a week was barely noticeable. However, that weightlessness may come at a cost, and it's just not that sturdy. Placing the Gram Style down on a desk, the display wobbles back and forth, and there's just too much flex to the chassis. The Gram Style definitely stands out in a sea of look-alike Windows laptops. The Gorilla Glass 3 lid and deck are both iridescent, so the color shifts from a pearlescent white to pink to blue, depending on how the light reflects off the surface. It's an eye-catching look that I love. The touchpad, on the other hand, is the opposite of eye-catching. Illuminated by LEDs on the left and right, which disappear from view when you're not using it, the pad is spacious enough that I never worry I'm off target. The palm rejection, however, could be better. The typing experience itself is just okay. The keys offer a good amount of travel, but it feels somewhat hollow and trampoline-like compared to my MacBook Pro 14-inch. This might have to do with the overall super light weight of the system. The Gram Style's port selection isn't skimpy, but it could be better. The USB-A port has a flip-down door that I suppose helps saves a bit of thickness in the design, but just gets in the way. I think I'd prefer an extra millimeter in exchange for a fully exposed port. As you can see, the Gram Style has an underwhelming webcam. Yes, it's 1080p, but it's a little bit darker than we'd like, and this like weird purple cast over Google Meet, which we don't see on other laptops that we've tested. The bad news is that there's even more of an underwhelming speaker system. The 2-speaker setup does support Dolby Atmos, but if you're looking for a robust bass, look elsewhere, as the sound gets a little muffled with the speakers on the bottom of the chassis. The LG Gram Style has impressive staying power, lasting 10 hours and 54 minutes in our testing, with its display set to 60 Hz mode. That is way better than the 13-inch Samsung Galaxy Book 3 Pro and Lenovo Yoga 9i. Among 16-inch laptops, it also beats the Samsung Galaxy Book 3 Ultra, but of course loses to the king of laptop battery life, the MacBook Pro 16-inch. But if Apple can claim to be the king of battery life, then LG can claim the crown when it comes to displays. Their OLED TVs are consistently the best, and so it's no surprise that the 3K 16-inch OLED display on the Gram Style is one of the most stunning panels I've seen on a laptop. For starters, I love that the screen is bright enough that I can use it outside in direct sunlight. However, while enjoying that healthy dose of sun, the shiny iridescent body could get distracting. Another plus is the 120 Hz refresh rate, which makes for swift scrolling when surfing the web and overall smooth motion. In our lab test, the Gram Style's panel nearly doubled the Galaxy Book Ultra and the MacBook Pro, reaching 156% on the DCI-P3 test. When playing HDR content, the LG Gram Style reached 477 nits of brightness, which is good, but is less than half the MacBook Pro 16-inch. And that brings us to performance. I do find the Gram Style capable of juggling my everyday workload. A few Chrome browser windows, Slack running, and Spotify playing in the background only causes a minor stutter now and then when switching between, let's say, Chrome and Slack. On paper, the LG Gram Style should have plenty of muscle for nearly any task. You get a 13th gen Intel Core i7 P-series processor, a 1TB SSD, and you can upgrade to a hefty 32 gigs of RAM, 16 gigs is standard. However, the performance in some of our tests falls short of other Windows laptops with similar specs. The Gram Style held up well in Geekbench, beating the Galaxy Book 3 Pro, but falling a bit behind the Lenovo Yoga 9i on multi-core. The Style's SSD also proved fairly speedy, surpassing the Samsung and finishing just behind the Yoga. The Gram Style fell behind the pack in graphics and gaming tests. Its 3D Mark Time Spy result trailed both the Samsung and Lenovo by a wide margin, and it couldn't crack 30 frames per second on our not very demanding Civ 6 gaming test. On our Handbrake test, the Gram Style took a leisurely 11 minutes and 41 seconds transcoding video. The Samsung Galaxy Book Pro 360 took just 7:59 with the same CPU. As you'd expect, the MacBook Pro 14-inch is in another league with its M2 Pro chip, taking only 402. So don't expect the Gram Style to be a great partner if you're a creative pro. And that's a problem when you're paying nearly $2,000 for a laptop. The LG Gram style is out now and starts at $1799 for the 13th gen Intel Core i7 processor, 16 gigs of RAM, and 1TB SSD with the 16-inch OLED display. The model we tested bumps that up to 32 gigs of RAM for $1999. The 14-inch version costs $1499 and features a 13th gen Intel Core i7 CPU, 16 gigs of RAM, and a 512 SSD, but it does weigh less than a kilogram. The LG Gram style is the kind of laptop that makes you go, wow, when you pick it up. No 16-inch laptop should be this light or eye-catching, and yet it is. But this is also the kind of system that makes you say, when you see the price. For $2,000, you're getting a laptop that isn't particularly great at anything. If you're a gamer, you're better off with the Galaxy Book 3 Ultra. If you're looking for longer battery life and more creative pro performance, get a MacBook Pro. But if you like the idea of owning the lightest possible big screen laptop, the LG Gram style is definitely worth a look. Make sure to check out our full review at tomsguide.com, and if you want to see who came out on top between the Galaxy Book 3 Ultra and the MacBook Pro, you can click here. Also follow us on social at Tom's Guide. I'm Mark Spoonhour, and I'll see you in the next video.